Thanks for taking the time to talk to me today.
It's my pleasure and honor. Thank you so much for contacting me. And I hope you've had the chance to listen to King of Kings. Did you get the links from Timo, from AFM Records?
I certainly did. I loved it.
Thank you.
Perfect. So, your new album, King of Kings, what differences can the fans expect from the new album?
Well, King of Kings is definitely conceptual or concept-based album. We did this with our second album, Vinland Saga, which was released many years ago, but still, the Vinland Saga was an album about Leif Eriksson's discovery of America. And so the whole album was divided into themes and chapters, and I really like that way of working, because it's so nice to, as soon as you start composing, you start digging your nose into facts and fictions and saga and Nordic mythology, and it's and then you kind of balance everything. You really have a closer listen to the music to be able to write the perfect lyrics with a perfect expression. So I really like that composing music and writing lyrics and concept kind of goes hand in hand and parallel to each other. So this is something we did with the Vinland Saga. So King of Kings is kind of connected to our second album. Still, I have to say that, of course, we are, 8 years. We've come 8 years further, and even if it's still us composing and producing, recording, doing everything by ourselves at our own master sound studio, still we've come a very long way. So King of Kings is definitely the biggest and the most epic, the broadest, the most bombastic production we've ever had. And my husband Alex is also he's a co-composer and a producer of the band, and he just told me that for one track, like Blazing Waters, that's the longest and most epic piece on the album, he needed 350 channels. And that's, one channel for each voice or instrument or whatever, 350. And that's like normally you could put 5 albums into that. So it's been an enormous production, but highly interesting, and I'm glad that we have a good team and good support from everywhere. Also, people who support us technically with technical devices, which was sorely needed for this kind of projection. So yes, it's the biggest one so far.
Well, it definitely shows. How long did the album take in total to record?
In total, well, we started composing just 2 years ago. That was just after we had released our 5th full-length album, Symphonies of the Night. When we sat down and talked about how to proceed with our next production, and it was Alex's idea to let me dig my nose further into my hundreds of books about Middle Ages and Vikings and Harold Fairhair, and I instantly loved the idea. So we started composing straight after the release of Symphonies of the Night, which is 2 years ago. So yes, in total, from the first note composed till mix and master, exactly 2 years.
Wow. So the album follows the saga of Harold Fairhair. What made you write an entire album just based on him?
First of all, I was very happy to find that nobody did. Secondly, I was born and raised. I lived 20 years by a fjord called Hafrsfjord, and this is said to be the fjord where Harald Fairhair won his biggest and most decisive battle. And afterwards he became the first king of Norway. So this fjord is, a historical place, and I grew up there. And this album has a lot of my, my heritage, my family, my interests. So yes, it's all in there. And as I was, sitting down, digging my nose into all those books and writing lyrics, I did feel a little bit homesick. I did, honestly.
Perfect. So you've got a large tour coming up for King of Kings. Do you have a favourite country that you like to play in?
I would say it's very hard to pick, really. Yes, it's a it's a very difficult question, because we have fantastic audiences everywhere. We just returned from Latin America. Well, it's a while ago, a couple of weeks ago, which was fantastic. I mean, it's a tough journey. 11 countries in 2.5 weeks. That's almost impossible. But the audiences were absolutely amazing, and they're so happy to see you, and they go crazy when you enter stage. But yes, every country, every audience has its charm and its ways to show gratefulness. Yes, of course we would like to tour nearby you. Which Irish city are you in right now?
County Limerick, so it's about 2 hours away from Dublin.
2 hours away from Dublin. Yes, we did Dublin twice, many years ago, and a couple of years ago. It was absolutely amazing. First of all, because we met our friends there, our friends from Germany, and they came flying over to Dublin to see us, which was fantastic. But the audience was really great. So I'd love to be back soon, I hope, because Dublin's definitely one of my favorite places on this planet. Yeah. We spent our honeymoon there 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And this is, yes, we were somewhere between Cork and Kerry, and that was actually where many of the basics for Liv's future happened. So yes, I hope to play more gigs in Ireland in the future, also outside of Dublin.
We'd love to have you.
Thank you very much.
So, do you have a specific routine that goes into writing the lyrics of your albums?
I do, yes. For this album, for King of Kings, the first thing I had to do was to get informed, to gather all the information I wanted and needed, and to gather everything, or much more split my lyrics up into 13 chapters. I guess you only heard 11 songs, but there are 2 extra songs that belong to the whole story. But still, I had to, or that was my goal, to divide everything into 13 chapters, which I did, and we picked the perfect composition music for each chapter. That was the first thing we had to do, and then after a while, working on my vocal lines and seeing where the melodies were taking me, I sat down to have a closer look at the lyrics, to switch some words where, that sounded maybe kind of boring or just very normal, to try to find elegant words, maybe more alliteration, rhymes and half rhymes. That's always been something I've been highly interested in, and I studied phonetics, phonology, and that's something I've always liked. So for me, a lyric starts with kind of bullshit lyrics, and then I actually write down everything in phonetic transcription, like how I want it to sound like, but with no real words actually. And then as I move on with my singing, with my vocal lines, I replace everything with real words, and then in the end, everything. Well, I always have my goal, my auditive goal with my lyrics, with my lines and stanzas. So yes, it takes a while, but everything is done with passion and heart and a lot of knowledge and studies. So yes, this is something I'm really happy to do, because the boys leave all the lyrics and the concept work with me, and that's a great privilege.
Great. So you're also an artist. Do you have any particular criteria when it comes to album artwork?
This time, initially we had thought, to put a Viking queen or a Viking princess on the album. We've had female characters on the front cover of the album, but I put down my foot and I said, no, this time we need a male, because practically I'm married to the German version of Harald Fairhair. Alexander is just the perfect Fairhair, so I said, Alex, it's your turn. So that turned into a huge thing, because we had to gather all the Vikings that you see on the front cover as well. Because a lonely Viking, no, that's a lukewarm story. We needed all the Vikings we could get. So we have a great support from Viking groups situated all around Germany and even outside of Germany, and they came and gathered up and brought their weapons and everything. Absolutely amazing. So I'm today I got the EP, and on an LP. I got the LP, and on the vinyl you can see everything properly. So yes, it looks really, really good, and I'm very happy that Alex said yes to be my Harold Fairhair.
Great. So you helped pioneer the Beauty and the Beast style vocals. Did you think that they would catch on as much as they did?
Well, that's always been something I really like. Something that came out of my work with Theatre of Tragedy in the early 90s. That's something I've always really enjoyed doing. This combination of different elements, contrasting elements, like the growl male vocals and the angelic female voices. That's something I've always liked. So I do focus on this, and I really would like to keep it for the future, because that's something I identify with, I would say, and that's something also that Theatre of Tragedy came up with, as mentioned, in the early 90s. So yes, I really like it, and it's nice to see that other bands are doing or have been doing it since this whole concept came out back then in the 90s with my former band, and afterwards I've seen bands doing it too, and I really like it. I think it's interesting to have contrasting elements in the music, whether it's in the vocals, between the vocals, or maybe when it comes to instruments as well. You might have flute and harp contrasting with guitars, or classical instruments contrasting with bass drum and bass. and guitars again. So I think it's a very interesting setup in music in general and in art in general. My favorite, well, that's not colors, but if I'm painting, I really like to just use black and white. As you also can see on the cover of my latest solo album, Vervain, which was black and white, and that album is mainly about light versus darkness. So yes, contrasting elements. I like that.
Great. So metal is a very male-dominated industry. Is it any different being one of the few females in the industry?
Well, there isn't that much of a difference nowadays, I would say, because you have female bass players and female drummers, and there are not so many of us, I have to say, but still, there are some of us going strong even after many, many years, like Tara and Sharon, and yes, some of us have been around for a very long time, like Kari Rueslåtten, Anneke van Viersbergen, and myself. Yeah, we've been around for more than 20 years. And I've always felt that metal was a very open-minded genre. Parallel to my metal albums, I've also released rock, pop, and alternative albums, and I felt that this is different. The whole business, the whole pop rock business is different. As soon as it gets commercial, you easily get a dollar sign on your forehead if you're a female. If you're good looking, that's it's tough sometimes. But in metal, I really feel at home, and my guys have always been fantastic. Even when traveling with my family, having my son on the road, that means that everybody has to take care about each other on the nightliner and on the road. And my guys have always been very careful and very, very nice. I have to say I feel like metal, the whole metal community and the people who surround me and support me, we're like a big family, especially within Deep Size and Atrocity.
Great. So I have to ask, what is your best and worst fan experience?
Well, I had a stalker once. That was terrible. That was agony. that was somebody who would turn up at my house in the middle of the night. That was scary. That was the worst experience. The best experience, The best experience. Yes. Well, I've had many. I've had many, so I just have to pick one. But that was in Brazil, touring. The last time we toured Brazil with Deep Size, there was a young guy coming up. He had a letter in his hand, and his English was very bad, so I really couldn't understand him. But he said, take the letter and read it. I understood that. So after I had gone to bed that night, I had some peace to open the letter, and actually it was I don't know what you call it. It's like a document of the birth of a person. What do you call that?
Birth certificate.
Yes, exactly. And it was about a baby girl, and her name was Liv Kristine, which is somewhere in Brazil. There is a little baby girl called Liv Kristine. Isn't that fantastic? So yes, that's something I will never forget. But I've had thousands of fantastic meets and greets with my fans, and If I can, if it's possible, I stay in personal contact with my fan clubs everywhere, because I want to show them that I really care about the work and that I'm grateful for what they are doing. So that's very important to me, to always show gratefulness, because without my fans, I would not be able to combine music and family, which is a privilege. So yes, I'm always very very happy when I can meet my fans and friends out there, and thank them for making this dream come true.
My last question is, what can we expect from you on the road during your next tour?
Well, what we have to do now is to rehearse. We have to find out which songs that would work work the best on a stage in a live situation. So that's the first thing we'll have to do, and then we'll decide upon the set list. The stages during the European tour will not be that big. Well, I mean, they're big, but not huge enough for flames and pyros and swords and rock and all the all the things we would like to bring along. We have to do that when we get the chance to if we have a bigger budget and a bigger stage, probably at the festival or something, we'll be able to play through the whole story of Errol Fairhair. So this time we'll go on tour with an interesting set list. We'll have songs from every album, and of course you will hear a handful of those brand new songs from King of Kings. So I'm really looking forward to see you all again, and I hope everybody, I hope you enjoy the album.
Great. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thanks again for talking with me, and I wish you the best of luck with the new album and tour.
Thank you so much, Laura. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and I wish you a pleasant evening, and take good care of yourself and your family, right?
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.